Are you tired of living in a world where truth seems to be fading away? Do you find it challenging to trust people, unsure of their honesty and integrity? If so, you are not alone. In today's society, truthfulness is becoming increasingly scarce, and the lack of belief in an absolute moral truth is affecting our relationships and our interactions. But what if there is a higher standard of truthfulness? And it's a thing that could bring clarity and authenticity back into our lives. Well, welcome to the Journey Church Online. I'm Thad, and I want to invite you to come along with me today on a really cool journey through some of the most epic spots you're ever going to see. So come along for this great lesson from the Sermon on the Mount. So I'm tucked back here in the woods, but just about maybe 20 feet straight in front of me on the other side of the camera is a huge cliff that drops off to a raging river. There's actually two rivers that join together right around the corner. You probably can hear some of the static river noise going on in the background. And as we film the episode, we'll see how it goes. I might get a chance to get out closer to the edge and show you around some of this amazing scenery. Otherwise, I'm going to be tucked back here a little bit so that you can actually hear the audio, because when you get close to the bank, it is deafening. Well, this is episode 6 in our Sermon on the Mount series, and today we're diving into Matthew chapter 5, verse 33 through 37. This particular passage deals with oaths and vows. Now, you might not be thinking, this doesn't sound nearly as exciting as discussing murder or adultery, but here's the thing, let me assure you, it's about the very core of a person's character and how we should live as children of God. In our society, truth often gets lost in the tangled webs of human interaction. We have all these complex systems like lawyers and contracts and notaries and binding signatures to ensure that we keep our promises when we think it's really important. Yet, sadly, these things don't necessarily make people more truthful. In fact, many even doubt the existence of objective truth. In a recent Barna study, it was discovered that a mere 22% of adults in America believe in absolute moral truth. What's even more surprising is that among born-again Christians, people that profess to follow Jesus and believe in going to heaven, only a fraction firmly hold on to the concept of an unchanging moral truth. But Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life, sets a much higher standard for truthfulness than what people are used to. He challenges us to be honest and sincere in our words and actions. We've all heard people do it. They swear on their mother's grave, or they make a pinky promise of some kind, but what does it actually mean to swear by someone or on something? So in order to understand Jesus' teaching about vows or oaths, you got to really get a better idea of the context. And it's a big deal. So don't miss this part. Well, in the Old Testament, when you swore by someone or on something, it meant two really important things. First, you were calling on that person or thing to actually be a witness, confirming that what you said was true. Second, you were acknowledging that you'd be judged by that person or thing if your words turned out to be false. So you were swearing by someone whose testimony is reliable and trustworthy, using their name to support the truth of your words. And at the same time, you're accountable to that person if you didn't do what you said. That very same person would now become your judge. That's why it's mentioned in Hebrews 6 verse 16 that people swear by someone greater than themselves, someone that they must answer to. Well, God's law in the Old Testament instructed his people to swear by him alone, not by any other gods or created things. You see, swearing by God was a serious commitment. He is the ultimate witness and judge. Certain situations, people would make oaths or vows in God's name to make their promises stronger. But during the time of Jesus, some of the people were misusing oaths, kind of making it more into a game, trying to sound convincing without actually being genuinely truthful. Sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? They swore by various parts of God's creation, like heaven or earth or even their own heads. But Jesus told them that was foolish because God is the God that's a sovereign ruler over everything, and nothing they swore by could escape his judgment. In fact, everything they used in their oath was under God's authority. Well, let's take a look at what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verses 33 through 37. Here he says this. Well, Jesus was teaching that instead of relying on elaborate oaths and vows, that we should just live with such honesty and integrity that our words alone can be trusted. Our yes should be so dependable that people know what we mean without any extra guarantees. And when we say no, it should be just as trustworthy. You see, Jesus wasn't banning oaths or vows outright, but instead he wants us to focus on being truthful and honorable in all of our dealings. So much so that there's no need for extravagant promises. Honesty and sincerity should be at the heart of our character as followers of God. The core issue here is not just the formal act of taking an oath or making a vow. Instead, it's about the condition of our heart. Jesus, in the Sermon on the Mount, stressed the importance of being truthful in all aspects of our life. Oaths or vows shouldn't be used to lower the standard of truthfulness that we apply daily as children of God. Well, throughout the Bible, there are examples of people like the Pharisees who appeared righteous on the outside, but really they were just hypocrites. Their oaths and the promises that they made lacked sincerity, and their hearts were not set on being truthful before God. But God sees into our hearts, and He knows if our words come from genuine honesty or deceit. Well, this matters because at the very center of being a Christian, it's really about being in a right relationship with God the Father. And just like our family relationships, if someone you know that you love is not being honest with you, or you're not being honest with them, then it really hurts that relationship. And our behavior should flow from a genuine desire to honor and love God. So, our yes being yes and our no being no is really important because it can affect the way that we behave in our relationships with each other and certainly with God. I do want to point out that Jesus' teaching about truthfulness is not here so that you can use it as some kind of a weapon against other people. That was actually a big problem among the Pharisees, and Jesus addresses it later in the Sermon on the Mount when he cracks down on them for pointing out the speck in someone else's eye and ignoring the log in their own. But when it comes to honoring your word and honoring your commitments, it's about internalizing God's righteousness in our hearts and living it out genuinely. Jesus wants you to focus on becoming truthful people from the inside out, loving God, hungering for righteousness, and seeking to be like Him in your lives. Well, whether you're at home, at work, with friends or family, remember the profound significance of truthfulness. Your words should reflect your love for God and your earnest desire to be like Him in everything that you do. So, I pray that this lesson on truth from Jesus will be a guiding light in your lives, shining brightly in a world that often confuses and distorts the concept of truth. Let's remember that being truthful is not just a matter of words, but a reflection of the character of our Heavenly Father. Hey, don't miss out on the rest of this incredible adventure here at the confluence of the mighty Liard River and I don't even remember the name of the other river. I'll have to put it up on screen. We have been so many places and seen so many rivers in the last several weeks. They're literally running all together. Hey, if you want to watch the whole thing and explore this whole area, wait for the video to pop up on screen for the link. You can check that out. If you've missed maybe the last episode, there'll be a video that pops up on screen as well. Be sure to subscribe, like this stuff, share your thoughts, drop us a comment. We're excited that you're with us, and have fun checking out the rest of this place with us when the video pops up. So until then, we'll see you from wherever we are out there.